Hello guys, welcome back in today's episode. In this video, we'll be looking at the BTC dominance chart for the alts and Bitcoin and Ethereum price actions. Before we start, got a small request as usual. If you guys are learning and enjoying from the contents, do not forget to like the video, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe and activate the bell so you do not miss the accurate market updates. Starting from the Bitcoin under a higher time frame, daily time frame. In this episode, we've got the same levels, 3 resistance to support levels down below us. So the rejection point was around $42,000, and right inside the box with the less than 1.5%, it was around 1.3% difference that we started dumping as expected in the last video. So I'm expecting the lower line of this resistance number 1 should hold. On the daily time frame, if we're going to break the upper line of this resistance, which is $42,000, and that will give us a beautiful higher high structure from the south, we will have a higher lows, and that will provide us to go all the way up to, in the first place, $45,000. Moving on to a 4-hour time frame. When we look into a 4-hour time frame, since the entry level, as I showed in the last video, went up all the way up to resistance number 1 was our first resistance, retested the support number 1, and then since then we moved towards the upside. And from the entry level, as soon as we held the support number 2, lower time frame started giving us a bullish signal. So from the support number 2, if one took this trade, you've been already up by 33% spot profit. However, from the last video that I mentioned that it won't be easy for the bulls to break in a one go this 42,000 level, and as a result, we will highly likely come to this resistance number 1. In the first place, might go to the upper line, we can come all the way up to the lower line of this resistance. As you can see, in the last 24-hour plus, we are having the battle to go above the resistance number 1. However, we couldn't manage. You can see it, all the candles got rejected, and then we're going towards the south now. So from the last video, I said it highly likely we'll get a rejection and we'll come back all the way there. If someone shorted it from the last video, you've been already up by 10% spot profit. And if you're doing a leverage traded 10 times, that would have provided you already 100% profit. However, this is a risky game. If you bought from these levels, you only need to manage your stop loss in order to go to the primary target at around $45,000 and $48,000. Before we move on to the lower time frames, if you want to learn all this technical analysis, what I'm showing, and if you want to become an independent professional trader, or you're interested in the institutional trading system, you can message me via Telegram at Magnate8, and one-on-one intense mentorship is available. It only takes you 5 to 10 hours to master this all. During the course, you will learn day trading, i.e. scalping, swing, and as well as the long-term as an investor trading systems. Moving on to 2-hour time frame. After we had a rejection at around from the upper line of this resistance number 2, by breaking this level, 2-hour started giving us a signal that we may go to the resistance number 1. So at the moment, 2-hour, as soon as we broke the upper line of this resistance, as I mentioned in the last video, we are consolidating on the 2-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame, as soon as we broke the lower line of this resistance, 1-hour time frame started giving us a bearish signal. However, as you can see, we had a battle couple of hours in here, week to week rejection. It held from the upper line of this resistance number 1, and we tried to retest it. However, we couldn't manage it because we already went in consolidation, and 1-hour time frame, by breaking the upper line of this resistance, we entered into the bear's control. So at the moment, 1 hour is under the bear's control. To enter into consolidation level, we have to break 38,500. Ideally, to be bullish, we have to break 39,200 level in order to test the resistance number 2. 2-hour time frame. In order to be bullish on the 2-hour time frame, we have to break at around 39,500 level in order to go all the way up to $42,000. However, this time it will not be hard for us to break the $42,000. 4 hours still bullish. As long as we're going to be staying above the lower line of this resistance line, then we are good to go to test the $42,000. Bear in your mind, if we see in the next 24 to 72 hours, 4-hour time frame loses this lower line of this resistance, then I will be keeping eye on to support number 1. However, I'm not giving it too much weight on this scenario. I'm still expecting that we're going to go to 42,000, and the next stop zone is going to be $45,000. In order to do that, we have to break, as I said, 39 and 39,500 level under lower time frames. I also had a few questions to cover this bull flag scenario. As you can see, if you calculate from the bottom all the way to the top to measure the breakout. This time it worked. And as you can see, we had a beautiful, this horizontal support resistance lines, and we reached to our target much better than these patterns. So as it was expected that the price action, as soon as we held and lower time frames start giving us a bullish signal, the first level we were watching upper line of this resistance number 1 and as well as the resistance number 2. However, there was another second scenario as a bull flag. As you can see, that was another scenario that if you're going to measure the target levels, and this was a fake out. If you're a pattern trader, and you need to be careful, as I said, on the lower time frame, that was a fake out target from the bottom level that we're supposed to go to $45,000. However, this pattern failed because, as I'm keep mentioning, that you need to master this horizontal support and resistance. That always rules the market, because trading is all about buying at support and then, again I'm repeating, selling at resistance, shorting at resistance and then closing your position at support levels. However, this type of patterns, as I said, it is extremely hard to work with this type of patterns if you're not a professional. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get stopped out or you will lose the money, because you're at a resistance already. And if you're trying based on this pattern to take it long all the way up to 45,000 without this pullback, you are mistaken. So again, master this horizontal support and resistance. This will be your main tool in order to be profitable in this market. Moving on to Ethereum. Ethereum on the 4-hour time frame, as I mentioned in the last video, it was underwater, as well as the 2-hour time frame and a 1-hour time frame was underwater. So as expected, as I said, we're going to come highly likely and to test the upper line as well as the lower line of this support number 1. So as you can see, there was a number of candles. You can see the 4-5 candles, about 16 and 20 hours. There was a battle with the upper line of this support number 2. And as a result, we saw a decent dump in the market. The market already provided 11% plus spot profit. And if you took this trade again, you've been profitable by 5 times 50%, 10 times 110% profit. The same scenario, current condition of the 4-hour time frame is heavily under the bear's control. Without breaking this level of upper line of this resistance, which is 2,550, 2,600, the support number 2 is acting at the moment as a resistance. Breaking this resistance and then claiming as a support, and we are good to go towards the resistance number 1. However, it's slightly early to talk about it, and I'm not expecting a huge dump in the market. Moving on to 2-hour time frame. When we look into a 2-hour time frame, that is the 2-hour version. As you can see, that most of the candles, the battle took place on the 2-hour time frame. We could have managed to break and stay above, as I said in my previous videos, that 24 to 72 hours we're supposed to stay above this upper line of this support number 2. Once we broke it, and as you can see, we came all the way the upper line of this support number 1, retested the lower line of this support number 2, and then we start dumping further. And that was expected actually. I mentioned that clearly in the last video. In order to be bullish on the 2-hour time frame, the upper line of this support play a huge role. And bear in your mind, support number 2 is acting as a resistance at the moment. 1-hour time frame, breaking the lower line of this support number 2, we dumped a bit, retested it, and a 1-hour time frame started moving towards the bearish territory. So at the moment, 1-hour time frame is heavily under the bear's control. In order to be bullish on the 1-hour time frame, we have to break the lower line of this support number 2. And as I said, it's going to act as a resistance. So that will be around 2,450 and 2,500 level. For me, the safe option is going to be breaking this 2,500, 2,600 level and claiming as a support, and we are good to go towards the upside. However, bear in your mind, we've got high time frame, multiple time frame Fibonacci levels, and if we're going to lose on the daily time frame, there's 786 important level, which is around 2,280, as well as that, as you can see, that confluence with our support number 1. And then the first level that we will be going to dump and see around $2,000, $2,050. However, we have to hold this level on the higher time frame. At the moment, I'm expecting this support number 1 should hold. In extreme scenario that I'm covering, this 2,000 level should save the Ethereum in order to go further up. Moving on to the Bitcoin dominance. If you're holding heavy bags for the altcoins, you have to be careful and you have to keep an eye on Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin dominance chart is heavily under weekly time frame, under the bear's control. However, as you can see, it works the opposite side. If the dominance dumps, then the alt starts pumping. However, if the Bitcoin dominance starts pumping, the altcoin starts dumping. That's the usual case. At the moment, as I said, it's heavily oversold territory. So in the first place, under a weekly time frame, I'm assuming that the dominance chart will go all the way up to, on the weekly time frame, to the 618, which confluence with our resistance number 2. That's going to be at around 50 and 51 level. I'm expecting it may go in the coming weeks all the way up to 0.5 golden zone of this Fibonacci, and that confluence with our resistance number 3, and that's going to be around 56 level. Moving on to a daily time frame. If on the daily time frame we manage to hold the lower line of this support number 1, which is going to be around 44 level, and highly likely in the coming days we will go and test the upper line of this resistance number 1, and that's going to be around level 47. However, that will take a few weeks to play. We might see slightly consolidation, and as soon as we're going to break the resistance number 1, claim it as a support, and as I said, you have to expect all the way up to the resistance number 2, which is confluence with our golden zone of the Fibonacci. That's going to be 618 under a higher time frame. So it looks like that alt season is slightly postponed, and we will see more consolidation, or a bit with the BTC's movement we might see a bit blood for the altcoin market. So we're going to watch in the coming videos for the Bitcoin dominance chart as well. If not, I will update via my Twitter account. And we came to an end of this episode, and if you guys enjoyed it, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.